Things just took another turn with this Ben Simmons and New York Knicks free agency saga, as after a huge report on Ben Simmons potentially retiring and declining a Knicks deal, we are now seeing a completely new side of the story for the New York Knicks, and in regards to some of the players that they are interested in, and now the new favorite for that final New York Knicks spot. And we're going to break all this down. A lot to go over, guys. But real quick, if you're part of that 57% that's not subscribed to Knicks Digest, make sure to subscribe for daily videos. Things are heating up as the Knicks have to make this free agency signing soon, along with that rookie deal signing. So a lot is starting to happen with the Knicks, with training camp just a couple days away. And before we know it, it'll be preseason. And then the NBA season will be back. And I am so excited because the weather's cold, so I'm sad. So at least I want basketball around. But guys, let's jump into the video. There is a lot to go over on the Knicks right now. As we know, the Ben Simmons saga has been absolutely insane. The Knicks had a lot of interest in Ben Simmons because he was a ball handler who could run the floor for the Knicks but also guard big men. Something that's very rare with basketball players and with the Knicks in a general sense that they've never really had before. Many teams have not had that before, and Ben Simmons is a unique player who has a lot of strengths but also a lot of weaknesses. The Knicks were interested in Simmons because of his versatility and because the Knicks saw that they needed that. However, now there was a huge report that we've all seen by now where Ben Simmons was reportedly unsure if he wanted to even continue playing basketball. As mentioned by Stefan Bondy, Ben Simmons has generated interest from the Knicks and another team, but is also questioning whether he even wants to continue playing in the NBA next season. That other team is the Boston Celtics, and we would later learn this. As it was revealed by Mark Stein, the Knicks, league sources said, indeed offered a one-year contract to Ben Simmons that the former All-Star passed on. New York is limited to a minimum contract offers as training camp draws near, and Simmons entered the summer hopeful of securing a contract above the minimum after he split last season between the Brooklyn Nets and the Los Angeles Clippers. And we also saw from Stefan Bondy that Simmons' agent, Bernie Lee, recently dropped him as a client. According to Mark Stein, a source said that the decision occurred after the point guard sent signals that he wasn't interested in whatever came from his agent's conversations with the Knicks. So Ben Simmons has shown time and time again that he probably doesn't even want to play in the NBA unless he's getting enough money to really consider it. Ben Simmons has gotten paid well over his NBA career, so I'm figuring that he thinks, well, if I'm going to sit on the bench in New York and not play and have the New York fan base hating on me if I screw up once just to get a minimum deal, I don't want to do that. And you know what? I kind of understand where Ben Simmons comes from. Do I agree with it? Do I think it's a little soft? Yeah, but also, welcome to New York, Ben. Like, that's the thing. If he can't handle it, he can't handle it. I don't want someone here who doesn't even want to be here or doesn't have the ability to handle playing in New York. We've seen other guys who are in free agency who could handle this, who could step up and who could deal with the pressure of playing in New York in the biggest moments. We've seen that already. There's options out there that could do that, and their name is Landry Shamet, and they also might or might not be taking photos at the U.S. Open. No, I'm kidding. He is taking photos at the U.S. Open because Landry Shamet's absolutely a phenomenal photographer who's got an excellent career in photography once his NBA career is over. But despite the fact that Shamet's not signed, his NBA career is not over because the Knicks are very much still interested in him. And as we know, with Bernie Lee cutting ties with Ben Simmons, things has just been an absolute wreck for Simmons. I mean, the man is asking for more than a minimum deal, and it's been absolutely absurd to see that, considering the fact that Simmons in the playoffs last year got played off the court by the Denver Nuggets and appeared in only 5 games where he averaged 1.4 rebounds, 0.8 points, and 0.8 assists. Simmons didn't do enough to really garner any interest from teams outside of a veteran's minimum deal, and that makes sense. When you put up those numbers, you're not getting anything more than a veteran's minimum deal. I don't know what Ben Simmons is looking for. I don't understand why he thinks he's going to get more than that, because he was an all-star 3 times in his NBA career a while ago. We haven't seen Ben Simmons show any interest in returning to that player, even if he has the ability to, and nobody's sure about his back, so it leads to a bunch of concern that makes a ton of sense. Now, in a new report from Ian Begley mentioned that the Knicks have had dialogue with free agent Ben Simmons over the course of the offseason and certainly have had interest in him, but the club never made a formal offer to Ben Simmons, according to Begley's league sources, while Landry Shamet and Malcolm Brogdon are among those on the Knicks' radar for its lone roster spot available. Simmons last year in 22 minutes per game between the Nets and the Clippers put up 5 points, 5 rebounds, and 5.5 assists per game, shooting 52% from the field, had a defensive box plus minus of 1.8, showing that he's still a solid defender and can still make some good passes and grab a couple of rebounds, but he's not that guy anymore. It's clearly gone. It's upsetting, but he's just clearly not there anymore. Meanwhile, the Knicks could go bring in Landry Shamet, who, despite shooting horribly to start the season because he didn't trust that dislocated shoulder, which is completely understandable, Shamet still finished the year shooting 40% from 3, 46% from the field, and 47% on corner threes putting up 5.7 points and 1.2 rebounds with the Knicks in 15 minutes per game. They weren't always the most consistent, but when Shamet got in there, his consistency really showed up. There's also the idea of Malcolm Brogdon, who only shot 28% from 3 last year, which is way below his career average, but he was with the Washington Wizards. Last season was not a great year for the Wizards. This happens with veterans, especially considering that they face more defensive focus than they would with successful teams. So if it was the Knicks, he would have less defensive focus on him, get more open threes, hence he'd score more. I mean, in the corner three, he shot 40% for a reason. Now, Brogdon put up 13 points per game anyway with 4 rebounds and 4 assists. He could totally run the floor for the Knicks. He could be a combo guard, so he could play with Jalen Brunson as well. But the Knicks do have a lot of 6'2 to 6'5 guards right now between Brunson, Deuce, Jordan Clarkson, Tyler Kolek. So it's kind of an interesting position to look at when it comes to Malcolm Brogdon. Brogdon has generated free agency interest from teams around the NBA, specifically teams like the Golden State Warriors and the Minnesota Timberwolves have both shown interest in Malcolm Brogdon recently. So that is something to be very aware of when considering everything for the Knicks and what their future holds in regards to Malcolm Brogdon. So obviously that'll play into things as well. But on top of that, when it comes to Landry Shamet has been in New York and working out, and he's hoping for a return to the Knicks. It's where he wants to be, and Landry Shamet deserves it. He got only 4 real rotational games in the playoffs, and it was the final 4 games in the playoffs that the Knicks played, where Shamet was absolutely awesome. He put up 6 points per game and 2 assists with 1 rebound, played excellent defense against the Pacers, had a true shooting percentage of 72% or nearly 71.9, same thing. And absolutely was unbelievable. He shot 50% from the field and 54% from 3. Landry Shamet, no doubt, is that guy. Don't get it mistaken. And you got to love what he's been able to produce for the Knicks. And I think Landry Shamet is the perfect guy to bring back because I know he's undersized, but he totally can play either wing spot. I know he's a little undersized with that 6'4", but with that 6'4" being like a small forward, but the NBA league average height is 6'6" anyway. So Shamet, I do think, would be able to hang out and be just fine. I want to see Landry Shamet get signed to the Knicks. He makes the most sense for this team right now. I just think it's such an obvious choice for the Knicks to go ahead and go bring in Landry Shamet. I mean, you're looking for guys who you know you could trust. I understand the Knicks want another lead guard. I don't think they're giving Jordan Clarkson enough credit here, which is part of the situation, and that's one of the reasons why they're interested in Simmons, and they also would not mind another big man to guard other big men, which, yes, definitely is a thing because the Knicks have Karl-Anthony Towns, who's obviously no good defender, and then there's Mitchell Robinson, who's injury-prone, and then Ariel Hukporti, and outside of that, there really isn't another center on the roster. The Knicks could sign James Nagy to a 2-way contract, and he'd end up being thrusted into a pretty major role at the Knicks if Robinson were to go down with an injury. They also will have Mohamed Diawara probably on that rookie contract, and Diawara, though undersized, could step in at center as well at times if they needed him to. And also, same goes for Gershon Yabusele. So, and the Knicks have already teased playing Yabusele as a 5. Yabu's very strong. He could definitely do it. But there is some concern there. I understand the interest in Ben Simmons, but I also understand why Simmons doesn't have interest in the Knicks because Ben Simmons doesn't really know what he's doing with his life. So that makes sense. You go out there and you sign Landry Shamet. That is what you do here. It's very obvious. I want to see it happen. Guys, what do you want to see happen? Let me know in those comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day. Go Knicks.